This is the Rebel Experience. We have Dre on.
What up?
He doesn't want to be called Andy, so it's Dre.
Yes.
And we have Dashius Clay,
Yes,
myself, Chris Murray here. And this is our first podcast ever. We don't have any kind of schedule. We don't have any kind of platform that we're going to do except be completely honest and talk about what we want to talk about. I wanted you two on for the first one to talk about the Miami music scene, Miami studios, and to see what's happening with it. So I'm going to have you guys' input on how we should do this.
All right.
What do you guys think? Who wants to go first? Actually, you know what? I'm going to do this. Dre, let's talk about how you two met. You go ahead and go. I want to know how you guys met, where you met, and any fucked up stories along the way.
Well, me and Dash got a common friend, Carlos, which everybody knows him as Los. And I've known Los for years. He's always been coming to Mix Masters. And they all had like a little deal with another studio. Shout out to Camp David. So Camp David, Dash and Los and another friend named Primo were all over there.
What year is this?
2014?
I want to say.
Oh, so you guys have just recently kind
13.
of joined forces.
Or maybe even 13.
Yeah. Actually, yeah. I had a studio.
Okay, so I met all of you guys. If we met all together in, I'll tell you exactly when it was.
15. Summer of 15, I think.
No, I met you on the boat in March of 2014.
Correct.
That's the first time I met you on the party.
Oh, damn. Really?
Yeah, March of 2014. It was for the Latin Billboards.
Yeah.
Yes,
So
correct.
I had to be 13 then.
Yeah, you're right. 13.
So, yeah. So for whatever reason, we all met up and they came to Mix Masters when we only had one room and they were vibing and Primo had been working there for a little while. So
What was a little different than that? We had a studio out there. We had a studio in downtown Miami that we had relocated to because the previous building, which was like a very famous building where Pitbull came up and everything like that in downtown Miami.
County jail?
No. There you go. Well, we were in there. They got a new ownership because downtown Miami was up on the up and up, so they moved us out. We moved across from the courthouse, and we signed in as is addendum, right? Because they told us you have 30 days to move in, to move in, and we had 2 weeks to get out. So we signed an as is addendum with the management to get in quicker. Long story short, we ended up waking up one morning and the entire studio was flooded. We were about 2 days into...
Flooded with water, not people.
Yeah, flooded with water. We were about 2 days prior to opening, and all of our equipment was damaged, so over $100,000 in equipment destroyed. I was like completely suicidal for like 2 months to the point where I just like didn't leave my house or anything. And my two friends, Los and Primo, who worked with Driz, one day I literally feel like that was actually probably my last day that I was going to be alive. They came and got me and were like, hey, listen, we can't have you like this. You know what I'm saying? We need to take you somewhere to work because you just like, I was, me, I'm always a really hardworking person. So to see me go from 100 to 0, they were just kind of like desperate measures.
You would never think because of his...
Facts.
This red beard, this red hair.
Young Bombs over here.
You're like Mr. Energy. To think that you were there is a shock.
Yeah, that was like definitely the lowest point of my life. And then they introduced me to him, and we all met up and we made like a deal to work. And from that first day there, like two things happened. I fell in love with the studio, but I really fell in love with Driz. You know what I'm saying? And like that's why I always say it to you that I'm like forever most and grateful to Driz and Hayes because I literally do feel like they saved my life. So that's why I also put so much effort and love into what they do, and I respect it like it's mine.
It goes to a common theme that I always say. It's amazing what music does. It's just amazing what it can do from a communal aspect, from the song, from the studio. It's amazing. So interesting. So I'll kind of fill you in how I met you.
For sure.
So we have the common denominator there is Ralph Navarro.
Shout out to Ralph Navarro.
Shout out to Ralph from Florida Yachts International.
There you go.
So he finds out that I'm wanting to open up in the music business here in Miami. He says, "My nephew, man, you got to meet him. Let's go over to a studio." So it's funny enough, it just came up. Someone sent it to me on a Facebook feed, like one of the first times we were over there. Man, the kids were like super young.
Yeah.
Everything looked
Yeah,
different.
I remember.
I didn't even have their hair then, so it couldn't have been too long ago. And so Ralph he meet me outside, and we're going. So we pull up. I'm like, this motherfucker is setting my ass up. I thought, there ain't no fucking music studio in this place.
Yeah, facts.
And then you open up and you're like, holy shit! It's like the Viet Cong. There's tunnels everywhere and going, and it's like.
Yeah, Mixmaster's a little bit of a maze for sure.
It's but it's when you go in, it's like this beautiful
Hip
hop factory.
Thank you.
And on the outside, it's like, nah, this ain't happening.
Definitely.
But I gotta give a shout out, because I don't know where this kid is now. But I remember going there, and there's this kid like, my fucking hose, motherfucker. Yeah,
Marvin Robin.
Yeah, motherfucker.
Marvin Robin.
I'll be slinging shit.
You talking about? Oh my God, Marvin Robin. Yeah,
He's this 5-year-old kid outside.
Yeah. Savage.
He should have been a YouTube sensation.
He should have.
No, we tried. We tried. We recognize the talent.
Super
Sure.
cool.
Yeah, that kid was savage.
So that's how I ended up meeting you, and then you guys all came on.
What a first impression.
Yeah, we all went on that big, huge yacht for the party, and then 2 days later, I had a Billboard's after party at the house. And who was fighting that night? That was
Mayweather. That was the first one.
Yeah, had a huge party. Had tons of industry people there. And you set up all the equipment, and we had Domino Saints there actually performing.
For sure.
Rip. Rest in peace, Domino. I know. Sorry, I had to. Nah, I wish them best of luck. I really do. They're much better off without us, and I wish them the best of luck.
We need to have a dropping cruise bombs over here. For real.
Sound effects.
The nuclear.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's move on to this. I wanna know a little bit about what's going on in the music studio scene here in Miami. The evolution, where it's come from when you first got in it. Obviously, shit's changed because you were with the Numbnuts. Who was the douche up in Fort Lauderdale? Storch. That's a whole different.
Oh, man. You need a whole episode for that.
Yeah. So that whole life of $250,000 a song, and studios used to be able to. Studios used to charge whatever they want.
Yeah.
It was big bucks. Now I will tell you this: it's definitely making a comeback. The whole studio scene is changing, making a comeback. They're seeing that. You can't grab an 8-channel Mackie in a bathroom and a shitty mic and make a Grammy. There's an ambiance and a setting.
No, there's still value in a studio these days. But privacy is one huge one. You know what I'm saying? Because if you have your own studio at your house and you got 400 people going in and out of there, it's eventually gonna get frustrating. You're just gonna want to deal with somebody that just brings you service. You're gonna have your coffee, you're gonna have your fruit ready, things like that. And besides that, engineers, you got to get your own engineer if you're working in your house. So.
Okay. So
but if to go back to what you're saying, these days, the days of 2006 when producers are getting paid 6 figures for a record, I don't think that exists anymore. Nobody's getting no $500,000 for a beat these days. That just doesn't happen. I think that era is definitely over. And I'll give it to Storch. I have my problems with him, but he was definitely at the top.
It's funny
when production was at its highest value, I think.
But so going back to that, shit has to happen a certain way for it to, to be where it is, and what's the old saying? I won't take that. Let me turn that up. Actually, somebody interesting might just FaceTime me. Like, what up? If it didn't happen the way it happened with Scott, and when it was happening, it was fucking miserable for you, from what you told me. You lost.
Yeah, for sure. At the end, it was definitely horrible.
Yeah, and then you ended up back at Guitar Center. But if you wouldn't have ended up at Guitar Center, Mixmasters wouldn't be. And if Mixmasters wouldn't be, I can tell you right now, we wouldn't be.
Yeah,
it's an evolution of how everything happens.
Absolutely.
So when shit is really bad in your life, no.
Absolutely. 100%.
That you can be like, eventually, if you keep hard work and you keep going, then you could possibly be like as bad as motherfuckers as we are here right here.
Yeah.
Facts. Well, when people piss me off, I definitely get motivated. I'm like, yo, I gotta do something, to
In the famous
for me, you know what I'm saying? Like
in the famous words of Dre, facts.
Facts.
Shout out to Motif for giving me facts.
Facts, Motif. Okay, so you opened so the Evolution. You opened Mix Masters what year?
Unofficially, we had the house in 2007. I was still in college when we had opened it. Hayes was actually running it. Shout out to Hayes.
Shout out to
Hayes.
Yeah, so we had it originally opened it in 2007 in a house. We had it in Kendall. And then in 2009, we moved to another building in Doral. And then they kicked us out of there because of everything else, smoking going on. So
there's no cigarettes allowed in the music
yeah,
industry?
exactly. Yeah. So when our lease was up there, they told us to go fly kites. So then I had left to Orlando, and Hayes was actually the one that found the current building where Mix Masters is at. And we started building it there, and we're there till now. I think we opened that in 2012. Or no, 2011. In January of 2011 is when we had officially opened Mix Masters in the location that it's at right now.
Okay, so when you opened it, you had just one section, and then you've expanded.
Yeah, we had Studio B, what everybody knows is the blue room right now. So we only had
and that was your
we had the blue room, no board when we opened up, no nothing. I ended up selling my car and got a C24 that we had, and I just kept on. And I worked at Guitar Center like you mentioned, so I would get discounts on gear for working there. So that's how I started building up gear. I would spend my whole check on gear. And finally, I got it to where it was. And then in 2014, me and Hayes decided to let's get 2 more units, and we opened up the A room. And yeah, that opened up in like summer of 14. So, and then now we're at the point where we're about to get Studio C popping. We'll get that open this year for sure, I think.
So real quick, so there's Rebel 11 Studios and there's Mixmaster Studios.
For sure.
I think what makes us super special is you won't find I've never found it. You may find it a relationship where there is no competition. It's very symbiotic. We want both of each other, and you would.
I feel we complement
most
each other.
people when they hear, they go, "What do you mean you're partners with a guy who owns another studio?" I go, "Yeah, it's cool." Well, what's your problem? Yeah, why don't you worry about yourself and your wife cheating on you? Don't worry. Don't fucking your wife's getting pounded by the neighbor and you're worried about who my partners are. Come on. So it's super special and how we have it. When there's an overflow, we go to the studio. Go to the studio, and that's the whole thing in the industry. If more people would want to work together instead of wanting to, just
what is enough money?
Yeah, what is enough, and also just. There's something to be said about just working together, having the same common goal.
Yeah, but we're in Miami. You know how that happens.
Yeah, it is. It is mine. Okay, so we kind of got that out of the air. Let's find out. I want to find out who is the. I don't want to say coolest, but who's the biggest person. Because the biggest celebrity is not always the coolest. Actually, they're usually the biggest douche. Who's the biggest person that you've had the opportunity to work with or had at Mix Masters?
The biggest person?
And you got up and coming people too.
Well, I don't know. Gates is probably up
Kevin
there.
Gates, yeah.
Kevin Gates is. Shout out to Kevin Gates. But yeah, Kevin Gates is probably one of the bigger artists we've had out there.
Did you have Balvin there though?
We had Balvin in there. We have Manuel in there right now.
We have Manuel in there right now.
You had Faruko in there too, right?
Faruko, shout out to Russian for bringing Faruko through. Yeah. DJ Paul from 3-6 Mafia. That was a huge day for me. I grew up listening to those guys.
And who's the biggest person you've worked with?
Who's the biggest person that I've worked with?
Not biggest like in fattest, but biggest like in your mind. Who was the most impressive? Who's the biggest? Who's the biggest celebrity you've had the opportunity to work with?
Like work face to face with?
Or work, yeah.
Veronica Rodriguez.
Yeah, Veronica Rodriguez. She's a porn star and she's fucking awesome. Nah, but for me, like my favorite.
Was she in there singing?
Yeah.
Yeah. She's like one of the biggest porn stars. She's
Facts.
probably like fucking
Yeah.
top
she's
5
definitely
masturbated too.
Yeah, for sure.
Is that the girl that Stitches was with on that picture?
No.
Negative.
Oh my goodness.
Negative.
Yeah, but she's dope. She's like super huge, but I actually think I don't know. I'm drawing a blank, but I'll go with her. She's cool.
Swag Man.
Swag Man. I like Swag Man. Swag Man's super dope, super crazy artist from France.
Yeah,
He's got a million tattoos. They say he's worth $500 million. He spends money like crazy. He does
Is
whatever the fuck he
good
wants.
Is he super, super rich?
And he's super, super rich, and he's super, super cool. Like, out of everybody that I've met, I'd like to give Swag Man the award for being the coolest.
Yeah.
Super humble, super nice, but he knows what he wants. He knows what he's about, and he lives life how he wants
Yeah,
to do
it's
it.
crazy. It's crazy because when you see him, you don't think that he's gonna be that cool, but he's definitely.
Yeah, when you see
he's
it,
like
especially in Miami,
hella
you're
nice
like,
guy.
oh my God, this guy's from fucking Carroll City, and
For
he's about to
sure.
fucking chop me up and shit. And then, like,
And
you
then
meet
he's
him.
like, hey, bro, what's up, man? Hey, man, everything cool, man. Pose it, bro.
Hey, man.
Real cool.
He's got, yeah, he's
Real
super
cool.
chill.
Now for me, I really, we've had a lot of people come through Rebel. But
For sure.
Obviously, I don't work with them because I don't know how to turn on a fucking radio or even play one key of anything. But been around. We've had Balvin through there. I wasn't there.
Balvin, Farruko,
Weezen, Farruko, Yandel, Bad Bunny.
Yandel. Shout out to Ear Candy.
And for me, what makes it super, super special, what we've done there, is now 2.5 years. If you tell anybody you're getting in the music business and in the studio business, they go, why don't you just take your money up
For
north
sure.
in the winter, burn it so you stay warm?
When I was doing my master's in full set, everybody used to tell me, yo, why are you getting into the studio game? There's no money in that. There's no money in that. Why are you wasting your time?
Well, what we've done is super,
No, yeah.
super fucking
in
impressive.
2 years, definitely. If you would have asked me when we first opened Rebel if we were going to have half the artists we had, even in the first year,
Bro, we've
I would
got-
have been like, that's a stretch, you know? Like if that happens, we're doing amazing. And it ended
But
up happening.
you guys run
And
studios differently than anybody else runs studios. I just want you to know that because, like, I've been to a million studios as well, and like, never have I seen the management aspect of it in the same sense as you guys do. A lot of people just kind of build a studio to manage interior assets, like, oh, my friends, and these are my labels. And you guys really do set up a platform for like service-based studios in the sense of like, let's bring in whoever we can bring in that's at the top of the game, make them hot. You know what I'm saying? Like,
one of the toughest things for me in business, and I learned it. Is that learned? That doesn't sound right. You'll find out I'm fucking stupid on certain things. One of the things that I've learned, okay, is it's not what we want. It's what they want. Like, I want all this shit, and then people go, yeah. I want this. It's what they want.
Exactly.
And you put it in there, and you go, okay, it's what they want. I'll never forget, and this is a great example. So we have these ATC mains, and we had these ATC subs in there. And you go to Europe,
and they're like God over there.
you go to
hated
Europe,
those.
and you've got ATC, and people are just
Yeah, like, yeah, facts.
and it's just like, it's the best.
I hated those
Here,
speakers.
they go like, I could wipe my ass with those Pioneer speakers.
Yeah.
They're Kenwood speakers.
I mean, they're a great brand. The problem is like they cater so much to. I feel like they're amazing speakers if you're working on rock and roll or anything that's not super bass heavy.
yep.
if you if you want something that's gonna sound super, super amazing, ATCs. If you want a hole punch through your fucking chest,
Yeah, but
Oggs.
this is the 808 capital of the world.
And
You know,
when,
like,
when you're talking about the music that we work on, like
Boom.
urban Latin music or hip
Hip-hop.
hop,
Trap.
any of that,
808s.
So what-
to
what-
me, Augsburger's got the #1 spot.
So what
in my
happened
heart.
is I had these speakers. They looked fucking amazing, and these speakers are ridiculous expensive. I think the mains are 60 to 80 grand for a
for the
pair.
ATCs.
Yeah.
yeah.
And then the subs are another,
Oh my God.
$10,000, $20,000 each.
Yep.
And so Yandel and Ear Candy. Hold on, let me back up. Andy calls me and says, "Hey, bro, if we want to get Yandel, we got to, we got to change speakers." I'm like, "Well, then we don't really need Yandel now." and because I'm new to the game, and especially the Latin game, I'm like, "Who the fuck's Yandel?" He's like, "Go ahead and Google him. You'll find out." And I was like, "Okay, how do we get Yandel?" So he's like, "We got to get OG subs, man. We got to get OG subs." So I'm like, "Fuck it, let's do it." What did we do though? We put them in there. It's not what I wanted. It's what they wanted. Bam. Ear Candy and Yandel. That was their home.
Facts.
And then this is Okay, March. Okay, so then the next step is, then now I'm getting ready to get rid of all this equipment I have. I've got a badass microphone collection, as we all know, like super historic, big vintage microphone collection. I don't give a fuck about those. I mean, I have a C12 original. I mean, Klaus Heine's worked on it, 1958. The Latin market down here, I have that one. And then I have a VR C12, and they go, oh, look, it's gold and shiny.
Yeah.
Oh, it's what they want. They want the
Absolutely.
Sony. So I have Dave Malikpour. Shout out to Dave.
Facts.
I have him come down to take pictures and inventory everything. We'll try to start selling stuff to get what they want, our clients want. And sure enough, that motherfucker, because he could talk the panties off a nun, Dave. He gets me to, and I'm glad he did, because it changed the whole face of our studio. We put in a badass Augsburger complete new system in A and B, and it changed the whole face. I mean, it's not only is it just super fucking loud, there's zero distortion. And here's another thing. It's funny that I have a 7. It's funny, we're Rebel 11. I hope I don't screw this up, Annie and Dash. Tell me if I'm wrong here. But isn't 11 on the volume?
Yeah, the max you can go on SL.
On SL 11. Everybody just cranks it to 11.
Yep.
Just boom. And there's zero distortion. And it is. It's
No, those
amazing.
speakers
Doesn't
amazing.
cut off. Doesn't get hot.
Now here's the surprise. Well, it won't be a surprise after I tell you. We're getting the Quattro
Yep.
for Studio A.
Yeah. It's
As
gonna
far
be
as we know, I can find out there's 3. There's Snoop
Dogg.
Snoop's got one.
Dre, and I think Lamar has one. Kendrick Lamar
Yeah.
has one. And
All West Coast swag.
All West Coast. So our Studio A is going to have, on mains, we'll have a total of 8 15-inch, and then
On the
that's
tops.
on the top, on the mains, and super tweeters on those, right?
No,
Just
no
the,
super
the
tweeter.
just the beautiful, not only cosmetic, but
yeah.
beautiful sounding horn tweeter up there.
Yeah.
It's so iconic. There's been a lot of people that try to copy the look of it. They
Yeah,
don't.
people still try to
And
make
then,
it all the time.
and then at the bottom, we have each side has 2 18 inches, and you talk about a hole in your chest.
Yeah, that's gonna be
And
retarded.
it is absolutely. We'll have, that's going to be in Studio A. Looking forward to this, man.
Along with that 9,000K.
Yeah, the 9000K, only one I know of. There's someone who's saying they have one in Pinecrest. I call bullshit. But we'll have it, and we're gonna be. And there's some J's out there, and there's a big difference between the J and K. K is what came out of the bad J,
It's the last of the analog world.
and it's the big boy. They were $1 million and above. I think the
savage.
most expensive one was 1.8
It's
million.
retarded.
Just it's insane. It's insane. Okay, so that's people best and most exciting people you work with. Okay, so you can just say pass.
Let's
I don't
go.
want this one. Who's the biggest fucking douchebag?
Whoosh.
And I mean just straight out douche in the industry, or not?
Scott Storch.
Just a straight douche.
Facts. I'll say that on any show, any camera. Fuck Scott Storch.
Nice.
No problem. No problem saying that. I'll call him out whenever you want. Anything you want to know about Storch, hit me up.
I think what we're gonna have to do on this one is we're gonna have a whole, because you got to hear these stories. I mean, it is epic, the Scott Storch stories. And I've only heard portions of it.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
I
me
literally, when he tells me Diet Coke gets spit out through my nose, I'm dying laughing because there is
A lot of savagery that
it's-
happened in that summer.
It's from global, worldwide #1 hits to sodomy upstairs. It is just
Yeah, it's crazy.
amazing.
It's crazy.
How about you? Biggest douche.
Biggest douche. You know what? I don't think I have somebody, because I just, like, as the moment I see somebody that I don't like, I just walk away. I'm like I don't
Yeah,
even.
Dash has the privilege of picking and choosing who he gets to work with for sure.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
I'm one of the few that gets to
Yeah.
usually tell people, like, nah, I'm straight.
Yeah. It's one of the better things.
I worked it out to my
That's
advantage.
definitely a luxury
I'm
not a lot
energy,
of
so
us
for me,
have.
I'm like, nah, man, I'm
A
straight.
lot of us have, but for sure, yeah, Dash definitely has that privilege.
Okay. Tell me
Shout out to
about.
Froggy for setting all this up.
Yeah,
Rebel 11 Films.
Froggy. Froggy over here. We'll get some camera action on him. Right now, we have a non-compete with Ford Modeling. We're not allowed to put him on any camera until we get a clearance.
Yeah.
Dashius, tell me about your music, brother.
What's there to say? It's platinum, man. I just making fucking good music every day. That's what I do. Switching up styles all the time, just making sure I keep pushing the boundaries of music. That's my job, my responsibility as an artist. It's just to make raw shit and make it new and make it sound cooler and push the boundaries.
And for all y'all who don't know, Dash does mad shit, bro. Dash does everything under the sun when it comes to music. Copywriting, producing, engineering.
What I love about you is, bro, you have you got a palette for Cristal on a Kool-Aid budget.
There you go.
And I love it, bro. You get everything done, and you go like this. Listen, I can't afford to go out and hire a publicist. I'm gonna learn how to be a publicist.
Exactly.
I'm gonna learn how to copy
everything.
I'm gonna learn Twitter. I mean, just before we started today, hey, we got any people on Twitter who can get me like official
verification? Yeah, I was trying to get the verified plug.
And
I'll talk to Chris. We'll make that happen.
Not this Chris.
Chris Navarro.
Mr. Navarro.
Facts.
Shout out to Universal
Facts.
Music
There you go.
attorneys.
He's one who made it possible for a few people to get verified.
Absolutely. Shout out. Thank you, Mr. Navarro.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Ralph, for having Chris.
Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
that's straight up.
So I was actually on the way in. He's like, "Who's this Dashius?" We saw the pictures yesterday, and so I put on. I have it in my playlist, Barcelona.
The funny part is that Chris loves this song. And
That's how Chris is, though.
There's
Chris falls
no
in love with
song
records.
in the world that I hate more than that song.
I love it, bro.
Like every time I hear that song, I'm like, what corner do I hide in? Because I
Cringe.
fucking hate that. I've never hated a
But
song in my
artists,
life.
I like that.
But that's the one song I like. I
But
hate.
bro, didn't you get like stool jammed on this song? Didn't they fuck you?
A little bit, yeah. And which makes it even worse.
Yeah, that's probably why it gives you salty mouth.
It takes me back because that was done what year?
I think like 13, 14.
Yeah, it reminds me of 2012 to 14. That
It did
club song.
that song did a lot of great things for me, but if you like knew the story behind it, I just like you would understand like, oh well, that makes 100% sense why you don't like it. It was like everything was written out and they literally chopped my verse into like 5%, and we're like, no, we're gonna need to change this line, this line, this line, and they don't know what that is in Europe, so we're gonna need to change this and this, and like it was like giving a quarter of not even like eighth of the Mona Lisa. And you know what I'm saying? And like chopping the rest off. And they're like, we're going to show everyone this
butchered
section.
it.
Yeah, they butchered the fuck out of that song. Like I had lost. Everything I signed was basically like, you get no control. So like.
Yeah. So what I can basically give from this whole first segment is just be good. If you're just fucking cool and you work hard, good shit happens, man.
Yep.
And we have so many douchebags in our business. And I'm not going to say it yet because I got to check with our legal department. But there's some motherfuckers that owe us money. And they're douchebags. They're huge up and coming. But because they're from, a shitbag environment, they think they can shit on everybody. And they have no business sense. They're not coming back here.
Facts.
You know the only way?
There's two of them.
Yeah, there's the only
Both
way
of them motherfuckers could go fly fucking kites.
the only way they're coming back here is if they come on this podcast, apologize,
And break bread.
and then break
And
bread.
break the bread they owe us,
right
for
there,
sure, at least.
right there,
And some.
At the very minimum.
then I'll go. You know what? Okay, thank God we live in a world where you get a second chance, man. Thank
for
God,
sure.
because if not, I'd be fucking locked up. Straight locked up. For numerous things. Well, guys, anything else we want to get off our chest in the music industry? Talk about? You want to talk about what's going to happen at Rebel? We got tons of segments.
Yeah, for everybody who's waiting for what's going to happen with Rebel, we're going to reopen. It's going to be ridiculous. Our old A room is now our B room, just to put it in perspective. So get ready. It's going to launch, I want to say somewhere in September, October maybe. There's no hard date yet.
Our A room is absolutely, and this is not a word you're supposed to use, and if I offend anybody, I'm sorry. It's fucking retarded.
It's huge.
Stupid retarded.
It's huge.
Just the
control room.
The control room
alone
is massive.
37 by 32, so It's huge.
It's
That's my house.
massive.
Yeah.
And then
We built a little house.
yeah, and super high ceilings, and then the live room for how we designed the window and getting there for the door is super unique.
Yeah, it's cool.
And then the Studio A lounge is insane. B is going to be way bigger than our old Studio A. We're going to have the Quattro system. Studio C is super cool. It's going to keep people separated. But
Both
still,
big studios got their own private lounge, so now
we're having a very open
The deck.
community lounge where everybody can get together. And right that's attached to that is going to be a high-end kitchen with chefs in there cooking.
Golfing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we definitely gotta get that golf.
Motif. We're golfing out back. We've got a floating green.
Facts.
Um,
a little mini
Mark my word. There was
Topgolf.
There was a lot of money that was exchanged on the pool table.
Oh yeah, we're definitely gonna bring that
Are
back.
you guys bring the pool table
Pool
back?
tables there.
Absolutely.
There's going to be some serious money exchanging hands on the green and the floating green and the tee boxes. That's for sure.
Holla at me straight cash. You want to lose some more money?
Yeah, Mr. Cash. And then basketball court. We're gonna have a basketball court here.
Jesus.
And the bathrooms are, I know it sounds weird, our bathrooms are ridiculous.
Nah, they were
That'd be a
fucking
5-star
amazing.
hotel swag.
Yeah,
That was.
our men's restroom, we're gonna have in there. It's big enough. We're gonna put a barber chair in there. It's gonna be a place where you come and you don't want to leave. It's
Yeah,
not
it's
just
gonna
a
be
studio.
old Rebel times 1,000.
1,000.
Yeah.
And say, plus we won't have assholes around us like we had at the old place. Bunch of crying.
Yeah,
little
no more sharing. No
bitches.
more sharing.
Yeah, no more. Sharing is caring, but we don't have to worry about the bullshit.
Nah.
This is all us now for the first
You're in
time.
your own world. It's beautiful over here.
It is, man. And we got the whole office set up thing. This is actually at Rebel 11 headquarters here. This is the office upstairs. We're gonna have the podcast here downstairs. We have the Google, Facebook swag downstairs. What's
That was
gonna
dope.
be incubator style
Pen.
thinking. We've got Froggy over here who's just right now temporarily helping us with the podcast. He actually runs Rebel 11 Pictures. It's amazing what happens when you get people in your circle who actually know what the fuck they're doing. Because we had a bunch of, I got more use with used toilet paper than I do with the old crew. They didn't rent it out one time. Okay, I take that back. They did rent it out, but behind my back and kept the money. They didn't rent anything out for Rebel 11.
Yeah, you can't be doing douchey shit like
Big fucking douchebag.
Can't do that.
So the pussyitis is so bad with these guys. They one of them literally got up and moved to Houston because he's such a bitch. Fucking bitch. Froggy's already rented out the stuff in 3 months' time. Over 6 times we've done the package deal. We've got a documentary on Kratom getting ready to happen. A couple.
Oh, see, that's how you got put up on Game About Kratom.
Yeah.
So he just learned. Okay, there you go. Shout out to
that.
Kratom.
Well, you use it too?
He just put me onto it right now.
man.
So and
Have
we,
you
Drink
used
that?
it?
No,
we got a couple.
man, I don't. I try to stay away from healthy things.
I mean, Twinkies are healthy. So we have our own section downstairs for Rebel 11 Pictures, and it's gonna kick.
Yeah, everybody's getting a little makeover.
Oh! So we gotta go. I'm sorry. This is gonna be good. So not too long ago, at Mixmasters, somebody comes in and slides a check.
Oh yeah. I didn't tell Driz that yet.
Well, let's hear it live.
So I had a friend of mine, and he had called me up probably a couple weeks back, and he was like, "Listen, man, I really need to talk to you. I was like, "All right, cool." And they come back a couple of days later, like, "Man, I really need to talk to you. I have an offer for you." And I was like, "All right, cool, man, no worries. Yeah, man, definitely." He's like, "Yeah, man, I need to meet up with you today." So he comes in to my office, in the studio, and all of a sudden he sits down. This is like 2 weeks ago when I had my desk the normal way. So he sits across from my desk, and he pulls out a check and puts it on the desk, and it's $50,000. And he's like, "I want you to leave Mixmasters and open up a studio with me." And I was like, "Wait."
Did you say 50 grand? What is that for?
Well, the funny part
is that
was
for the first microphone?
I told him, I was like, I would never leave Mixmasters because there's just no competing with that, nor do I care to want to. and B, $50,000 is like not even gonna fucking build the walls. And he was like, how much more do I need, man? And I was like, man, to be honest with you, I just don't think that
You
it's
need a couple
even
more zeros
worth.
on this end.
Yeah, like I don't even. I still like, but for me, like my thing is just, I don't want to build a studio and be like, I think Mix Masters and Rebel kind of have it like under control. Like there's really no competing with that, nor do I want to. You know what I'm saying? Like it's the formula. I would be literally having to steal your formula to make something work, and that's ridiculous. So
kind of on that, I think that's fucking hilarious. But on that, we're not opening and doing what we're doing because of the other studios. We just mind our business. We do our thing.
Yeah,
I wish there were more quality studios in Miami. I really do. So the music scene would really even get bigger here. There's no reason when you live
It's
here.
grown a lot.
It has.
There's
But
a
the
lot
problem
of
is,
studios
Yeah, there
popping
are a lot
up
of
problem
and
is
left and right.
You have some studios that are around, pardon me, that have been around for a long time, but just haven't invested back in.
Yeah.
So there's, I won't name the studio, but I remember Motif telling us, he went over to the studio. I mean, it's got a nice SSL board in it, and he's like, they didn't have a fucking foot pedal, Chris. They didn't have a goddamn. What? What makes our studio so special is all the gear, the vibe, and everything works.
Not only that, if we don't have a
100%.
foot pedal,
We're going to get
we're
one.
gonna get one.
Bro, you know how many
You
times?
don't tell somebody no.
Bro,
That's for sure.
We've run to get anything and everything.
If the place is open and it's available to get, we'll send somebody.
We've borrowed from other
Yep.
places.
For sure.
We've gone and bought. Now that I knew, and I'm gonna give a shout out to him. Offer Up, bro. It's so amazing. I fucking love Offer Up, bro. I'm on there every. Oh, look, they got a watch, guaranteed.
Man, like crack for Chris.
Hold on, real quick. Let's just check this up. We're on Offer Up. Maybe Offer Up will give us a plug or something. Foot.
you know what? But as an artist, I don't think that you guys realize how much the energy that is in the actual like locations that you guys have that makes it amazing.
Foot pedals everywhere.
Yeah,
We can get whatever we need. We're gonna get it.
Yeah, we have
That's
to.
our job.
Yes, exactly.
It's our job.
Because there's a lot of studios down here that are like have dope equipment, but there's no culture and there's no vibe. There's no energy. It's like cold and it's dead. It feels like a doctor's office. Like the moment you walk in the Mix Master,
Your Honor, I object. I object. You just said that there's a lot of studios with cool equipment.
They got some. They got.
As I said earlier, I'm gonna need some independent verification.
There's a
Few.
There's a few. There's a few.
Yeah, there's a few.
But there's mostly nowadays, you're looking at, computer, speakers, people aren't, I don't feel like people are investing in studios like the way they used to. That's for sure.
But what you have though,
Even in
is
most commercial studios in Miami.
Even if you don't, here I'll go with Motif. One of the reasons is he's one of our great clients. He's one of our great friends, so it's easy. I know I can talk, and he'll appreciate what I'm about to say. Motif really wasn't using the board, but it's a setting, and you go in, and it's a feeling, it's the vibe, and everything. You walk in, there's this big board, and I'm telling you this: you can't just set up a computer and a half mic in a decent place and have J-Lo or Madonna come in and go, listen, I know we can cut it. Let's just cut it. No, what they want is they want to see a big board. They want it's a mental thing. It's a mental investment. It's mental gymnastics is what it is, and they want to see it. And they come in there and they the best comes out of them when they have the best, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Really does. Guys, thank you. We got now we need to start our day.
Yep.
Absolutely. Got a lot of stuff going on today.
So our initial podcast was here, and we got some official tallies here. We had a total of 4 people listening to it. That's us.
Nice.
Guys, thank you.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Same bad place, same bad time.
All right, bro.
Adios.
I like that.